Welcome to 100 Yards of Football this afternoon. This afternoon, we're going to preview the 2021 New England Patriots. If you like the video this evening, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And helping me break down the New England Patriots, the team from Boston, my man, the most talented high school football coach in the metro Atlanta area and probably on a national scale. He's a defensive coordinator at North Atlanta High School, which is one of the real wealthy high schools here in the local metro Atlanta area. So I'm bringing to board this evening my man, Mr. Kevin, the Bull Jones. So if you like the video this afternoon, please come in and share it, and we'll surely appreciate it here at 100 Yards Football. So, Coach Jones, let's talk about the New England Patriots in 2021, and what do you like about them and what you don't like about them? Break them down for us this evening.
Well, first of all, now that you put my school on blast about wealthy, I'm gonna talk to some folks about some more money. So it's only fair, and I think all the viewers would definitely say that.
But I was just telling the truth though, wasn't I?
Well, a sports fan, he done put the mark on our backs now we really got to play. But I'm happy to be here. And great to be with y'all tonight, man. And listen, it's getting ready you can smell it in the air. We just finished. Everybody finished eating out this whole weekend. Everybody did their barbecue. If you from Memphis and you know how to do it the real way, V. Us baby face guys, we don't know how to do it like y'all do. But let's go back to football. Sports fans. Mac Jones is part of the Patriots family, first-round draft pick for them. Cam Newton is the incumbent, just got a new contract. Some of those players that didn't play, that sat out, opted out, are coming back, a.k.a. Dante Hightower. I think you all know what university he came from, Roll Tide. I'll leave it there. And it's just good that there are some positive things going on in Patriot camp. But with that all being said, everybody wants to cause the flare up about what's going to happen at the quarterback position. Guess what? The Patriots had their first losing season in 20 years. Nobody else in football can say that. The first time they had a losing record in 2000, last time they had a non-winning record. So what does the maestro, and I still think he is the top of the food chain when it comes to the NFL and football. Everybody wanted to say who's going to really pan out to show they won the battle when Brady left. Was it Brady or was it Belichick? V, it was both of them, and both of them deserve the credit. Okay, but it just so happens that where Brady was able to put together a fantastic team down there in Tampa, a lot of people opted out for the Patriots. So guess what? Now we got a chance to see what they're going to be made of. I'm sure the offense coordinator, Josh Daniels, is going to feel so much better because the reality is, yes, I would definitely like to see Mac Jones take over the reins as quarterback when he's ready. And I'm talking from a coaching standpoint, okay? Because Cam is not going to give it to him. And there's a reason why Belichick decided to sign him to a new contract, although it didn't have the length that Cam wanted. Cam is still a good football player, and Mac Jones is a very good former collegiate quarterback who has to adjust to the NFL. And I, for one, don't believe in putting a kid, a grown man, but I mean, as far as football terms and years of experience, don't put a young buck out there and throw him in the fire. And I know that Belichick doesn't think that way. So everybody's making all this noise, V, because all of a sudden he's getting all the reps at practice, and he's shining a little bit in the OTAs and the mini camps in front of Cam. Well, guess what? Okay, that happens. But from a coaching standpoint, you do need to see what you have that you drafted in the first round. So it makes a lot of sense of why Mac Jones got all the reps. He showed some great poise. A lot of veterans talking about him. Of course, the fans and media, everybody's hooping and hollering. But he did have some few moments where he found out the true speed of the game with grown men, where that's their meal ticket and they have to take care of their family and survive. The game did change for him. And so he's still trying to rush some things. Okay, so from a coaching standpoint and a true Bama fan, yes, I do. There's two parts of me: the coaching standpoint and a former Bama player trying to make it as first-string quarterback. There's two parts to Bull Jones on that. The one that I want to caution everybody is you don't want to throw somebody out there too soon. And I trust that Belichick is going to put him out when he's ready. Because here's the thing, V. If he puts him out there first game of the season and it doesn't go well, then what do you have? You have a crazy show with Cam Newton. And I still think Cam Newton is a good quarterback. He did bruise his hand a little bit in practice. Of course, everybody's trying to be very hush-hush about it. That's the Patriot way. But Cam's tough. Cam is competitor. Cam is going to start the season off as a quarterback. And he does allow for them to have some mobility in the pocket because he's a veteran player that's led a team to a Super Bowl before. So I think that Cam Newton is going to start for now. And that's the way it should be from a coaching standpoint. Everybody needs to get out of their feelings, let the young rookie learn. And then when it's time to put him in the fire, he should be ready then. The same way Brady was when he finally got a chance, okay? He wasn't thrown out there. Of course, he was a later pick. Who knew? Evidently, Bill Belichick knew something because Drew Bledsoe never got that spot back. But Tom Brady was ready for the moment. So let Mac Jones learn, okay? Let him see how fast some of those guys really are in the NFL. He played with a lot of them at Bama. I mean, because we just have those guys. But now, V, he's going to see a whole bunch of them that look like what happened at Bama.
Well, when we talk about offensively for the New England Patriots, you brought up some good points. The quarterback position is the most important position to be successful this season. Make no bones about it. And Cam Newton played good football until he came down with the COVID last year. And to me, he never got that back. But let's be real here this evening on 100 Yards Football, Coach Jones. However, Belichick, to me, was like Bob Barker, like The Price is Right. He spent $160 million in free agency, which is not Bill Belichick. So I'm looking at the pressure. And you got to have great quarterback play. To play, especially now in the AFC East, because you got that guy down in Buffalo, the second coming of Vince Young with the arm.
That's right.
Who had 4,500 yards, broke Buffalo's passing record of Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
And then my question is, this is a critical year for Belichick. No question about it. What he's done is unprecedented. I still consider him the greatest coach to coach the National Football League. Wow. And as you say, it was both him and Tom Brady that brought that machine, that dynasty, because they won 11 straight AFC titles. But my question to you this evening, we know they need help at the quarterback position. That's going to be the key, whether they move up or not.
Right.
The running game, I think, is going to be all right with another Roll Tide, Damian Harris. I think he got to take it to a next level, but I think he's ready to do that. Then you're looking at the receiving core. Now, they signed some guys, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, Pig Sewell, University of Arkansas, who played out there well with the Los Angeles Chargers last season under Justin Herbert. But my question is, and Nelson Ojor, who had some nice seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles a couple of years ago, but then there's no what I call elite there. What I call take the top off. And Neil Harry, the first round pick they had a couple of years ago from Arizona State, he got a sin to be that guy at the receiver position. But my question to you before we move on to the defensive side of the ball, as I said on the Buffalo Bills preview this morning, is the king dead? Long live the king. Is New England dead, or is it Buffalo's division?
Listen, they're not dead. The problem is this. Everybody, while the sleeping dogs were lying, I mean, Buffalo was able to make some things happen, okay? Okay, and a great program. They have built a great program. But guess what? The Patriots aren't dead. They just had a pause in the road. You know how when you're driving on the expressway and you turn around and you have to go to that rest area, V? You got to go to that rest area. And then, a couple of kids want to take off running and go in there. And somebody has to use the bathroom. And all of a sudden, one of your kids wants to get something to eat. It's one of those fancy rest areas. And then another one of your kids wants to, get something to drink. Well, guess what? And all of a sudden there's a long line. So next thing you know, all you're dealing with is you're waiting in line as an angry parent because all of your kids are taking so much time. And all you're saying to yourself is, I wish we could hurry up so we can get back on the road. We need to get back on the roads so we can get to grandma's house. Guess what, V? The Pat will be back. And
now my question,
the beast is not dead yet.
Well, before we move to the defensive side of the ball, which is your specialty, I want to ask you one major question. Explain to me, then in free agency, why was Coach Belichick like Bob Barker too? The price is right, and he spent so much money in free agency.
Well,
why did he spend $160 million? I'm just asking a question.
Well, here's the deal, because he really wants to go back to the way he used to do it with the ground and pound, and then be able to get some guys that can catch the ball in space, and choice routes. It's all about the IQ for those receivers and how well they can maneuver through that type of offensive passing scheme. Bill Belichick once said that Randy Moss is one of the smartest receivers and competitors he's ever been around. And, that's a lot coming from Bill Belichick. So with that being said, the thing that you're missing is you didn't have enough people to find out who can play the proper role. Every one of those players that was brought to the Patriots has a certain key element or facet to his game that will fit into the Patriot way, including those tight ends, who I might add, nobody wants jumping up and down about Hunter Henry, but guess what? He'll be in there to get the job done for him. But here's the key to the Patriots offense. It's the offensive line. It's the offensive line. You have veteran guys who've played and won a Super Bowl. And David Andrews, you got Isaiah Wynn, you got Shaq Mason from Georgia Tech. You got veteran guys that have been there and done that. And they're the ones that now that if Cam is given the chance to drive the car, you can take off and take all those guys. You got Sony Michel, you've got Damian Harris, James White. You got veteran guys. Okay, they know how to win. You just didn't have all your players there. Your big brothers on the defensive side weren't there. So guess what? They're back. They're back. So what's going to happen now? You're going to have a chance to see exactly what specific skill set each one of those receivers. I agree. That's a lot of money. $77 million. That's a lot of money for receivers. I don't know. I don't know if they can make it happen, but I do know one thing. If Cam Newton is healthy, and he finds a favorite tight end or one receiver or tight end, and he'll figure he's got those running backs in the back. He's got a whole offseason to maturate in the process of the offense. And here's the thing that, of course, you're right. He has the wheels still and athleticism that Bill Belichick loves. Okay, so, hey, he's going to be the person driving the car right now, and they're going to get back deep in the playoffs. And if he slips, if Cam Newton slips and has a boo-boo on the field making decisions and things of that nature and or gets hurt, then guess what? At that point, Mac Jones will come in, and it will be deja vu from so many years ago, from when Bledsoe got injured, got hit on the sidelines, scrambling, something that he was not known for. And in came TB, and the rest was history.
Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. Now, they bringing back, I consider one of the top 10 players in the game. No question about it. Dante Hightower was special. He's coming back opt-out last year, which is going to be huge. Talk about their defense for 2021. A defense that was 24th in getting sacks last year.
Yeah.
Not with a pass rush.
Well, here's the thing about when you talk about the alpha male in that huddle and the ringleader, the true alpha male, the ringleader of the defense. There's somebody in that huddle, a la Ray Lewis, somebody that everybody looks up to when that stuff gets thick in there, Vincent, and they saying, hey, man, we need to come up with a play. Who is the voice? Who's the alpha male? And they lost the alpha male last year. No discredit to Stephon Gilmore. He did his job when the balls were thrown to him, but as you can see, he can't do it by himself. You needed that big dog in the middle. You needed Dante Hightower. You needed him in the middle. You needed him coming off the edge. You needed him to light a fire behind all those players on defense and say, follow me. Okay, and when you say follow me, then everybody's listening because they believe that you're that guy. And they didn't have that last year. So guess what happened, V? They lost their ringleader on offense. They lost their ringleader on defense, and they went 7-9. Some teams, and we're not going to name them today on this show, some teams had all their ringleaders and couldn't get to 7-9. Won't mention them. But still, the two alpha males on offense and defense weren't there. But guess what? The Patriot way and the way they do things, a la Bill Belichick, do your job. You got Brian Coward, who's still there. Okay, you have a host of other kids. You got the Matt Judon kid. I say kid, but he's a grown man. You got Matt Judon signed as a free agent there out of Baltimore. I mean, you've got even more players now. The Lawrence defensive lineman is there making plays. I mean, they got a stout defensive front. Plus, you got another. What's that name again? Christian Barmore. I think he comes from that school down there in Tuscaloosa, Roll Tide Roll. Christian Barmore, who we think that he's going to start, but guess what? The Patriot way right now, he doesn't have to start, V. He doesn't have to start to be successful. If anything, he'll be fresh for them on pass rushing situations and stout against the run, especially in the red zone, where he doesn't have to take so many snaps a game, and he can be even more effective in what they want him to do. Because in that 3-4 scheme, where a lot of what they've done recently is 4-2-5, they go with the three safeties and the two corners in their defense. So in a 4-2-5 look, okay, and your two inside backers. And then their games that they're playing and the multitude of people that they sub in and out has really still – they had a Band-Aid last year because they didn't have Hightower. But guess what? They still had Cal Van Noy, okay, a very good player. You got the Jones kid that plays in the secondary, also plays some of the star position for them because everybody is elevating now to that three safety look, so that you have a person that's good enough to play coverage as well as be stout against the run. And Coach Belichick's son Steven is now co-defensive coordinator. So you have some veteran leadership in there, along with Gerard Mayo, who's also the co-defensive coordinator. So you got a family affair of successful people in the Patriot way, and that they get all their studs back, and then they've added some that will allow them to be better than – listen, Buffalo Bills are right now the big dogs on the block. But watch out, because somebody's going to be driving down the street. They already hit the rest stop, and they're making that – they on the road, and they going to grandmom in them house. So they're going to be an unexpected visitor for somebody. And I think they're going to be back where they should be.
Well, the final words about the New England Patriots, I said this defensively, I think they're going to be a better team with Dante Hightower, one of the best players. I consider him a top 10 player in the league from a defensive standpoint at any position. That's how good I think the young man is. 3 Super Bowl rings out of the great state of Tennessee, Lewisburg, Tennessee. I want to throw it out there. I think the secondary is going to be solid, as you brought up. Jonathan Jones, a lot of people don't know he's from Carrollton, Georgia, by way of War Eagle, Auburn. I like Devin McCurry, still a solid veteran. They picked up Jalen Mills from Philadelphia.
Yes.
So that being said, I think the Patriots are going to make some noise, but it goes back to the quarterback position. And I'm not going to put it out there, but I'm just saying that Cam Newton, he played well last year before the pandemic. But once he had to step back, came down with the pandemic, had to come back. He didn't never play well. I think for New England to be a playoff team, he's got to get back to the years how he was playing when the Panthers went to the Super Bowl. But I would say this, Mac Jones, out of anybody that's ready, hey, he played with some serious talent over there at Alabama, and he followed some serious talent at the quarterback position. 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 4 INTs, and throwing the football. I think if it's anybody ready to come in that position as a rookie, I put it on Mac Jones. I think because of experience and him playing in a big-time program where there was pressure. Because think about this, Coach. If Mac Jones would have faltered last year, the young man out of California, Bryce Young, would have been under center. But Mac Jones didn't flinch. So coming into here, you're right. All he got to do is sit back. But if Cam Newton struggled, I guarantee you this. Bill Belichick, who was like Bob Barker, Price is Right, spend $160 million in free agency. He's trying to get back, especially since that young man from the University of Michigan went over there in Tampa Bay and won that chip. Now, Belichick is looking at getting to the playoffs and getting to LA in the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if New England got that type of team, but I can tell you this. It's going to be things change, and I expect they're going to play better football. Final words, Coach.
Hit key points, and I'll be real quick with it. Keys to success for the Patriots. The healthiness of their offensive line. Cam Newton and the healthiness of Cam Newton. Okay, he's a veteran quarterback. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's had to carry teams on his back before. He gets a full off season to maturate in the Patriot way in their system. There are some key parts of his psyche that evidently Bill Belichick loves, because he spent a couple of times, and you and I know this, watching it in the media, bragging about some things about him. And that's not the Bill Belichick way. Let's keep it real. He's one of the gruffiest people on the face of the earth, but there's for a reason. I mean, he's a perfectionist. Okay, and so he doesn't want to do the media deal. The difference between him and beast mode is that Bill Belichick's a head coach. And Bill Belichick has to speak to the media. He has to say something. But for him to say those good things about Cam Newton says something. But here's what they want to make sure they don't have happen again. They don't want to have AKA Part 2, the Jimmy Garoppolo project that exploded. Okay, so they've got somebody in place. He's going to be the future of their program for years to come. And Cam Newton and everybody else knows that. Cam Newton wants to stay healthy, have a great season, take the Patriots to the playoffs, be able to get them deep in there. So after this year's over with, there's some chance for Cam to renew himself and regenerate himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the nation. He's got some injuries on him now. He's getting older. Things change. But when it's all said and done, we need for Mac Jones, who currently is still wearing number 50 because that's the Patriot way in practice. He needs to be able to have a better pocket presence. He's had some problems in the mini camp with that pressure in his face. He has to be able to get a feel. How are you going to adapt to pressure? Okay. Drew Brees, who everyone says is 6'1", but he wasn't 6'1". Okay. I'm almost eye to eye with him, and I know I'm nowhere near 6 foot. But anyway, Drew Brees found a way to be one of the most prolific passers in the NFL because he's able to slide in pocket and find lanes. Mac Jones has to find out what his deal is, what his go-to move is. Okay, because if you remember, Drew Brees didn't spend a whole lot of time scrambling. Think about that for a minute. Didn't spend a whole lot of time scrambling. He got rid of the ball. Mac Jones is a pocket passer, and he has to get rid of the ball. Now, last and most importantly, win over Josh McDaniels, because Josh McDaniels is going to be the predecessor to Bill Belichick after he breaks Don Shula's record. Okay, so win over Josh McDaniels. That's the most important part for him. He's won over a few players, veterans, but when you win over the offensive coordinator who's been there for I don't know how many Super Bowls, he's got a lot of rings too, folks. You're really doing something. Cam is going to do his deal, but keep in mind, Cam can run, he can throw, he can scramble to run or scramble to throw. Either one. So he's still dynamic. I think that they're going to go. You're talking about at least second round in the playoffs. The Beast will be back. It'll be great to see for NFL football in the fall.
My final words about the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick is a big fan of Bon Jovi, and he's real close to John Bon Jovi.
Okay.
So I'm going to say what John Bon Jovi said back in the day. It's all the same, only the names will change. Every day it seems like it's wasting away. Another place where faces are so cold, like Bon Jovi says, wanted dead of life. Bill Belichick, they watching you in the NFL, dead or alive. Thank you this evening for watching a tremendous video on the New England Patriots in 2021. Thank you to the most talented man in Metro Atlanta, coaching the defensive side of the ball, my man, Mr. Kevin the Bull Jones. See us next week here on 100 Yards Football, and to our producer, who's one of the best producers in all of the world from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, my man, Mr. Jeremiah Daniel Long. Y'all be blessed here on 100 Yards of Football.